Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final countdown. Yeah, the show where we count down the top 5 of whatever the hell I decide we're going to count down that month.
And who the hell are you?
It doesn't matter what my name is! No, wait. Anyway, I am James Phoenix, of course, your host. And this is appropriately final countdown because it is the final Monday of the month, so there we go. Joining me, as you heard over there, we have from the Shadow's Maw, Mark Shadow.
What's up?
From the Mole Hole, Chriz the Mole is here. I think.
Hello.
And from wherever it is she comes from, Anastasia Lazerbeam.
From me, welcome to me. Anastasia Lazerbeam.
From parts unknown.
There you go. If you're from parts unknown. Beautiful.
Just so you can't find me, because, go away.
It's funny because she'll die alone.
Hells no. Well, you know what, if I have cats, am I really alone?
Yes.
Yes.
Even the cats are judging you.
I have guinea pigs right now, I don't even have cats.
So you don't even have a proper cat, you have a fool's cat.
What? No, I have two guinea pigs.
Mm-hmm. And how long is it going to take you to pick a favorite out of them and spoil that one and make it really fat?
Oh, I didn't pick a favorite. She already chose herself by just eating and dry humping the face of the other one into submission.
Wait a minute. Did you just say 3 minutes?
No.
I don't know why it's always funny to do that whenever no one's actually said 3 minutes. How long, Stacey, is it going to take you? Did she say 3 minutes?
Okay, then.
They need to bring that back, even without the deceased one, because that was a great gimmick.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's going to bring it back. One of them is deceased, and the other one has a deceased career. So,
But anyway,
indeed. So today, here on the final countdown, we are going to count ourselves down the top 5 animated Scooby Doo movies.
Jinkies.
Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you?
Like zoinks, guys!
You're not cool enough to do any of those things.
Let's split up and search for clues, gang.
And much like Scooby Doo, the final countdown has had an extra person who is also small and annoying. She's our Scrappy.
I love Scrappy, so fuck off.
Wow. Good night, folks.
All right, then. Moving along. Like I said, we're going to count down each of our top respective Scooby-Doo movies. These are animated-only movies. The 4 live-action movies do not count for this, nor did we count anything that was a special, but that was not a movie length, because there has been a series of small specials that were like episode length. We're not counting those either.
Ooh.
Hey, go watch some fucking Scooby-Doo. Educate yourself.
Yeah. You need to Scooby Doo. Stop Scooby Doonting.
I was just about to say that same thing.
There you go, Jim. You got your soundbite. Moving on.
Nice.
That's what I do. I create sound bites for you.
No, this is final countdown. This is my soundbite. Anyway, so let's go ahead and kick this thing off. As usual, I will go first since I'm already talking. So I got my mini cam here.
That's his secret.
I'm always talking, exactly. So to start it off, those of you who are fans of the X-Men, you may or may not have heard about this one. It's Scooby-Doo WrestleMania Mystery.
More on that later.
Yeah, I like this movie. It was a lot of fun seeing the WWE superstars in there, and it felt like a legitimate Scooby-Doo movie. The characters were acting legitimately like Scooby-Doo. They were still the basis, even though the superstars were heavily involved. And they interacted well with the superstars, and I felt that they meshed perfectly and just made a really awesome movie. Even though Ghost Bear kind of came out of left field, but okay, sure, why not?
Yep. And I will say that picture you have chosen, Jim, is absolutely perfect.
Why is that?
Because it's so pixelated, we literally can't see him.
Actually, the picture's perfectly clear. That's Minicam doing that.
I was aware, and also probably blowing it up. Vice
Yeah.
versa. Mixture of Hangout and that.
Yeah.
I didn't think you went, oh, this picture looks clear. I don't want that. I never thought that. I never thought that's how you looked for pictures.
Hmm. Fair enough.
But that was an enjoyable film.
It was an enjoyable film.
Mm-hmm.
Moving along. Let's go over to... how about Marcus Shadow?
Okay, how about Marcus Shadow? So, my number 5 is this one. That is Scooby Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. Because I thought this was a fun movie.
More on that later.
That's also on my list.
Yeah, I really like this movie. I love the fact that they took the classic movie monsters and put them in there, and they're like, and they had the Wolfman just being like, "Fuck you all, I'm retiring," and they're like, "Well, shit, we need a new werewolf." And then they get Shaggy as a werewolf, and then it becomes wacky races, and I'm like, yes, that's amazing. I mean, come on, who doesn't love classic movie monsters plus wacky races plus Scooby Doo? Come on, that's just outright entertainment right there.
That is entertainment.
So yes, the Reluctant Werewolf. Back to Jim.
Fair enough. Let's go next over to Chriz the Mole.
Okay. Boom.
Ah.
What is that
That
one?
is Scooby-Doo
Scooby-Doo.
and the Ghoul School.
Ah,
That is also on my list.
that
That's
almost
a great movie.
I really like that film because, yeah, it doesn't have the full Scooby gang in there per se, but it's still enjoyable. It's really fun, and the extra characters they added were really enjoyable. Like that little mummy girl is just so adorable.
I know. I like the Mummy Girl too. She's like one of my favorites.
She's adorable, and I just thought it worked, and it felt like Scooby-Doo, but was also a little different because it's kind of cool to see him in different roles and just always being, you know what I mean, the same stuff. So I was like, okay, it's a little different, and it's one of the few ones where it's Scooby and Shaggy mainly that's really good. So I was like, cool.
I think Scrappy was awesome in that.
We don't acknowledge Scrappy here on the X-Band.
Yes, we do, because I like Scrappy.
Jim's the host, and he said no.
Nope, I like Scrappy. Too bad.
But yeah, like I said, that was it for me. That was my number 5, Jim.
Alrighty.
Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. I won't go into too much detail about it, but people should check it out. It's just a fun little camp adventure kind of feel
It's
to
also,
it.
It is a great
it's also
movie.
on TV, usually during Halloween time. I think they'll just keep airing it because people keep watching it.
Pretty much.
Scooby Doo meets daughters of the monsters that tried to turn Shaggy into a werewolf.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Moving along. Anastasia
Before
Lazerbeam. How
they
about yours?
turn him into a werewolf.
Okay, like I said, both those are on my list, but they're not my number 5. My number 5 is Scooby Doo meets the Boo Brothers.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that one, and I like it. I think Daphne is also in it. I think, but
She is.
Yeah, which I thought was weird because I thought she was just an accessory to Fred, but it's cool how she's kind of like the main lead, and that's an interesting position to see her in, as well as I think they have like a map, and it's kind of like a treasure hunt for stuff, and it's really cool, and they kind of unsolve like an actual like mystery. I'm not saying mystery crime mystery, but like a puzzle. So,
Actually, I'm double checking, and actually, no, Daphne was not in that one.
she wasn't? Okay. My bad then. I completely confused that with something else. Oh well. Anyway, they actually solved an actual like riddle, like puzzle, instead of just like crime busting creepy people who scare other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really awesome.
Nice.
All right, back to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, next up on my list, also, I'm just going to mention here offhandedly, there's a lot of great voice actors in these movies too, some of which are still working today.
Yep.
You might get a kick out of this, Marcus. Of the 3 movies we've mentioned so far, Rob Paulson was in 2 of them.
Nice.
And I will also mention, I absolutely love, I know people normally mention that Tara Strong and stuff, and she's cool, but my
Yeah.
favourite voice actress of all time is the one who voices Daphne at the moment, Grey Delisle, or however you pronounce her last name.
That you got it correctly. Great Delisle or Great Griffin, as she's going by now since she got married.
Yeah, which I like her. I like her. Like, she was in Clone Wars and stuff, and I'm just like, yay! I was so shocked to find out she was Ventress and Daphne. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then when I saw more stuff she was in, like, and stuff, I was like, yay!
Were you more shocked to find out she was Betty Rubble?
If Rosie O'Donnell can pull it off.
Fair enough. Moving along. So, moving on to the next one on my list, number 4. I don't know if anybody else will have this particular one, but I happen to have I like this one. Boom. I give you Scooby. I know title's kind of cut off, but I give you Scooby Doo Pirates Ahoy.
Nice. That was almost on my list.
I really liked the pirate movie because it had a really cool premise, and it seemed like it was a little more unique than your standard Scooby Doo premise in these movies. Because for those of you who don't know the plot of this movie, basically the gang go on a cruise because Fred's parents decided to take them on a cruise, and they all go on this cruise, and the cruise ship gets attacked by pirates because pirates, and so they end up getting kidnapped by the pirates. And what it turns out at the end is that the guy who was playing the lead pirate there, Captain Skunkbeard, who was on the side of the poster in the red suit there, he's Captain Skunkbeard because, yeah, that's what you want to call yourself. But anyways, Captain Skunkbeard, turns out he's actually the snooty rich dude who they met on the boat, and he was actually doing this whole scheme because he was being controlled by a guy who's not on the poster, but this short little annoying guy called Mr. Mysterio, who's a hypnotist. And it turns out he hypnotized everybody. Because they had kidnapped crews from a bunch of other ships, including that cruise ship, and they hypnotized them all into being pirates. I was like, oh, that's kind of awesome. You got a pirate crew, a legitimate pirate crew that wasn't just either A, actual ghosts because they've started doing that now, or B, that wasn't randomly just a whole bunch of dudes or something. So I was like, wow, you actually had a legitimate, that was kind of cool. It was innocent people forced to work for you. That was kind of neat. And so Mr. Mysterio turned out that he'd hypnotized all these people because they were in the Bermuda Triangle, and supposedly he convinced Captain Skunkbeard, idiot over there, the meteor that was in the Bermuda Triangle would let him go back in time and be a real pirate because he wanted to do that. But actually it was just made of gold, and Mr. Mysterio wanted to be rich.
Of course,
So-
it was all about money.
Here in the
Hold
X
on.
Town, we do not condone slave labor or kidnapping.
Very good,
Hey.
very good. We do not.
Hey, if we can include Scrappy, we can include slave labor. I'm sorry, that's the rules.
Nice.
Fair enough. Sorry, I tried.
Yes, and also I would like to particularly again mention
Hi, QJ.
I like to particularly mention the great voice acting in this movie was another thing to put it over the top because Captain Skunkbeard, aka Biff Wellington, is voiced by Ron Perlman. The legendary Tim Conway is in this movie as one of the Fred's dad. We had Kathy Najimy is in here as the overly perky cruise director. Arsenio Hall is the captain of the ship, Captain Crothers, and in an awesome choice of casting, I have to say, Wooden Leg Wally, a.k.a. Mr. Mysterio, the bad guy, is Dan Castellaneta.
Nice.
It's Homer. Homer did it.
Nice.
I was about to say, I have no idea who any of those names are because I don't remember names, but you said Homer, so at least that's one person.
It's Genie.
Like,
Ha!
the only genie I know is a guy who committed suicide a while ago.
Dan Castellaneta voiced the genie in the shitty Return of Jafar movie and the TV show.
That is
Yes,
not accepted.
which if Robin Williams had actually been in that one, he would have committed career suicide.
Possibly.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah, the stuff with the other one is not as good. However, it's always fun to just acknowledge him as Genie because everyone's always like, wait,
Yeah.
he wasn't Genie.
Although I will give you something really awesome, Mo. Here's a little treat for you. When you get around to it, because this upcoming summer of Disney is based on video games, and we're going to be reviewing assorted Kingdom Hearts games. When you get around to playing Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Mole, there's another G voice actor in that game. Not
Nice.
Dan Castellaneta, and actually he's pretty good. He's
Nice.
uncredited in the credits, but when you get to that point, I'll tell you who he is if you want to know. But he's pretty good as Genie. I was shocked. I'm like, wait, that's not Castellaneta. What the fuck? Oh, he's actually pretty good. Okay. But anyway, yeah, this movie has a great voice acting. It has a cool, unique premise about hypnotizing people, and it's just really funny to see pirates and stuff. Plus, Tim Conway as Fred's dad is hilarious. So this is just a great movie. Now, that was mine. Let me go back over here to my mini cam, go back to the logo, and Marcus Shadow, how about your number 4?
Sure. My number 4 is that one, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. I really did enjoy this movie.
That's also
They
on my
tried to-
list.
They tried to make it modernized Scooby-Doo, obviously trying to go with what was big at the time, and what was big at the time was video games and computers. So what do? You take Scooby-Doo and the gang, you zap them with the MacGuffin laser, and transport them into a video game. And this is where I loved it, because they did something really clever, whereby it's a Scooby-Doo video game, and because it's a Scooby-Doo video game, when they meet the Scooby-Doo characters in that game, it's the classic Scooby-Doo, because it was based on stuff they had already done. Which I'm like, that's clever. That's a very clever way of having current Scooby-Doo meet classic Scooby-Doo. And then as they're going through the game, the main bosses they fight are like the old monsters that the people in the costumes. But because this is a video game, they're actually monsters. They're not people in costumes. So I'm like, I like that. That was kind of cool.
The Creeper, the Black Knight, the Tar Monster, a lot of great ones in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty clever.
It was. And I did like this movie a lot, I agree. It was one of those movies where it was pretty cool, and I did like the monster, but at the same time, it felt like it was less about a Scooby-Doo mystery and more about, here's a lot of nostalgia, which was cool, but it was, it kind of was the fact that they were focusing more on the gimmick and the nostalgia. It was a little less about the mystery. It was a little less Scooby-Doo formulaic, but it was still pretty cool.
Right.
But it did not make my list.
Yeah, I felt this was more of like a Scooby-Doo anniversary movie. At least that's kind of how it felt to me, which I'm like, I kind of like that.
Which is fair enough. I can give you that.
I don't know if it was an anniversary movie, but the fact that they did that and they had basically the two versions meet, I was like, okay, that kind of feels anniversary to me, which I'm like, that's kind of clever.
Yeah. And I like how they were clever enough to use, in order, because, they just used the older, because Fred, Daphne, and Velma had their outfits slightly changed. They were able to just use the original looking of them. But with Scooby and Shaggy, they had the clever foresight to use the older film alternate Shaggy with the blue pants and the red shirt, and Scooby with his red collar to make them stand out more. And I thought that was cool.
Although in a few frames on the waterfall, they have the old Scooby-Doo twice instead of having them be on the both color, because they did double red collars accident.
Oops. That wasn't a animation error. That was to show a glitch within the game.
Ha.
Maybe. Maybe not.
I didn't like that movie, but it was one of those things where the gimmick was kind of, it was all about the gimmick, and so that was kind of, it changed the focus a little bit for me. It was a good movie, just it wasn't quite good enough to make my list. Although I did love the gimmick and the old crew meeting the new crew. That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. So that's mine. Back to the. Well, I'm not going to say it. Back to Jim.
Although the other thing I will add is Shaggy conveniently having a magnet in his pocket that he carried with him from the lab. Not as cool as asking for a magnet and having Sakara Lucha in and give him one.
True.
But yes. So thank you, Marcus. Chriz the Mole, how about your number 4?
My number 4. That's my number 4.
Yes, I didn't have room for it, but I'm glad somebody probably mentioned it.
Woo! Scooby-Doo Adventures, the mystery map, which, yeah, like Marcus addressed with that one then, it was more of an anniversary thing than anything else, so we can get around some of the others. But it was cool. I liked it. There's not a single part of this that's good. And like I said, not a single part of this that's not good, I should say. And like I've mentioned, I kind of like taking the characters and doing something unique with them. And this was unique in itself. And I know some people will say, but they're puppets. They're not animated. They use stop motion animation. And since this wouldn't really count with live action or animation, I did check with Jim in advance, and he did allow it.
I remember it because when I said animation, I basically meant not the 4 live-action movies, so I'm willing to count this.
Yep, which I really do like this film. It's good all round. The designs are cool, the voices are cool, the story's cool. It's just an awesome film. Check out our review of it.
Indeed.
You forgot the most important part of that movie. Puppy Boulder.
Yeah. Puppy Boulder was awesome.
I just want that now. I just want to have a giant ball with a Scooby face on it in my room. But anyway, Anastasia Lazerbeam, you're number 4, dear.
My number 4 is Scooby Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. He already talked about this one, but man, this is what I got this from Blockbuster. You know, this is my Saturday night right here. This is
I've heard about Blockbusters. Aren't they haunted?
they are a ghost now, if that's what you mean.
No. They're a wrestling move.
But yeah, this was my Saturday night and Sunday night. This movie's freaking awesome. I love this movie so much because again, it's like I think it was called The Wacky Races or something. It's like that, except with Scooby Doo and monsters.
Yeah, Marcus Shadow made that comment earlier when he had it, that it was like they turned into the Wacky Races.
Yeah, and it's freaking awesome. And he's also turning into a werewolf at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it has Scrappy in it. Yeah.
Also, I mean, one thing I want to know, Connie, is after you go through all that, after how many times she saved your life, how did he turn around and dump Googie? What the hell? Because we never see her again.
Yeah. True.
Sheesh.
She was cool. So that was my number 4.
Fair enough. It's even sadder because that's like the one time we've actually seen Shaggy with a girlfriend outside of Velma in Mystery Incorporated.
Hey, they were never a girlfriend and boyfriend.
Unless you count the alien.
The alien also counted.
Yeah, Velma was boyfriend and girlfriend with Scooby and Mystery Inc.
Wait,
With Scooby? That's bestiality. You can't do
sorry,
that.
with Shaggy.
When was that?
Mystery Inc., the new cartoon series. They were
I
together.
haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Basically, they live in the town, and basically they're supposed to be like high school kids, and like Fred is obsessed with building traps and things, and his dad is the mayor, and then like there's Daphne is still rich and everything, and they worked all the details, but one of the things they worked in there that hadn't been tried before was having Shaggy have this thing for Velma and inevitably asking her out and having them date a little bit in the show.
Aren't they kind of an item in the live-action Cartoon Network movies? Because in the second one, don't they have a little thing?
I don't know. More of the Cartoon Network movies, did they have a little thing? I haven't seen those in a while.
They had sort of a thing, but that's because at the time they were incorporating all elements, and Mystery Inc. was on, so to make it across the board, they kind of hinted at it, but didn't go as full as they've been with the other ones. It wasn't confirmed, but you could see like maybe there was seeds there for later on when they could grow up to be the Mystery Inc. or the other team, which depended on how you wanted.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because I always got the feeling that if they had continued that movie series, that the next one, they probably would have been a full-fledged thing.
Fair enough. That would have made sense to me. I think they're a cute couple, but that's just me.
They do.
Although, since we're not making the list here, I will say I did think Velma made a much cuter couple with nerdy Seth Green from the second live-action movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know nerdy Seth Green.
Anything with Seth Green, that's pretty much the answer.
Yeah.
Velma and Leonardo. Fair enough.
Yeah, so to the point that WWE realized that, and they now have Seth Green on their network. So there you go. But anyway, moving along.
You can't fault us.
Now. So moving on to my number 3. Where's my list here? Where is it? Where is it? Because we knew we were all going to have this one on the list. Boom. It's time for Zombie Island.
Not on my list.
Okay.
Not on my list.
I did like the movie, but not on my
I'm glad
list.
I brought it up then, because Mole was the one who made the joke beforehand, like, we're all going to have Zombie Island, aren't we?
Yeah, but I also made the comment that we're all gonna have that. You're all gonna have that on your list, aren't you? Because I know everyone always really highly rates that film, but I couldn't get around the fact it was the first one where it's not a
fake
dude
monster,
to unmask, and I just that felt weird. I didn't like that.
Which was understandable, and that's probably why in every subsequent film, even if they've had a real monster, they've also had a fake monster.
It also made me uncomfortable that there's a bunch of disembodied corpses that also die, and also a bunch of dead souls, and the murder of everybody else just made me feel really uncomfortable. It's like, yeah, we've been murdering people forever, but they can't, like, pass on because they're just, like, zombie things, and they're stuck there for all of eternity. Yeah, we've been torturing them for centuries.
Well, no, the thing is, they established that was the zombies' choice. They could have passed on, but the zombies chose to keep their spirits behind because they were trying to eventually save somebody from that fate, so the cat bitches would die.
Yeah, but it still made me feel really uncomfortable.
It did, but gentlemen, it was worked in really well because until that was revealed, you did not expect that twist. It was a good twist.
Yeah, but like corpses running around, one of them gets his head chopped off. How do you think that makes him feel? You know.
Considering he's dead, I don't think it makes him feel anything.
He's still walking around. You gotta feel something.
Yeah, of course dead people feel stuff. Otherwise, why WrestleMania
like,
did they
Velma had a thing for Velma had a thing for this book guy who turned evil, and everyone who had a thing for someone turned out evil, and it was just like, oh, you all are just not nice people. I don't want to be here anymore.
And they're mystery incorporated. It's pretty much already been established a fan theory that the entirety of society has collapsed around them because every building and place they go is abandoned and decrepit. So.
But they just not meet very nice people. There was no other people other than the main cast who were nice. And the zombies, I guess, were good, but they were dead. And
yeah,
I'm gonna make the comment, Jim. That fan theory is completely ass wrong.
Okay.
Because we've seen them in multiple cities, like your WWE one.
True. Fair enough. But
isn't this the one with the undercover cop?
Yeah, the undercover cop was a nice guy.
And didn't he have a thing with Velma in this one?
He had a thing with Velma too, yes.
So there you go. Velma got with the nice guy. So
she mentioned she was crazy about a good detective story.
Yeah, but I don't know. He was one guy, and I wasn't really feeling it.
Well, I like this movie because it was kind of dark and dramatic, and you wouldn't expect it to be real, so that kind of threw me for a loop the first time. I'm like, wow, that was unexpected. And it just got really dark, and like, and you didn't think they were going to get out, and they did. I was like, okay, that was kind of cool. I just like the fact that it wasn't a fake monster, but it was kind of cool that they built it up that way. And they did give you a montage of a lot of fake monsters to try to make up for it. But it was kind of cool. And although I was in particular, let's all be honest with each other, the best part of this movie is the music.
The music was good. Yeah.
And it's terror time again.
I thought the best part was the animation.
The animation was good too. I like the music. The terror time again. The song "He's Fake" during the unmasking montage. That was pretty cool. There's a lot of good songs. Good songs. It was a little dark, yes, but I thought that there never been a really overly scary Scooby movie. And they tried it. They took a risk. They tried it once, didn't totally work. They went back to their other formula and just worked in some more realistic aspects. It's like, okay, that's fine. You tried an experiment, didn't work. You went back. It's cool. No risk, no reward. I was fine with it.
I also really did not like that catfish.
It's a catfish. Big Mona. That was funny. But yes, Scooby Doo on Zombie Island. Alright. Let me get my little thing here. Market Shadow, number 3, if you be so kind.
Fair enough. My number 3. Scooby Doo and the Monster of Mexico.
I have not seen that one.
It's basically Scooby Doo versus the Chupacabra. Do I need to say anything more?
Nice.
Also,
no, good.
And also this one, shout out to Richter, giant fucking mech.
Nice.
Yeah. They basically get to pilot a giant mech that's basically a mech replica of like a Mexican stag.
Marcus, your headset is fucked.
Sorry.
And so you're saying they drove around in the mystery machine?
No.
Oh.
No, it was a giant mech replica of a Mexican statue.
I will also make the case, a giant mech does not automatically equal good. See, Shaggy and Scooby get a clue. Thank you.
I haven't seen that one. But yeah, I really like this one.
Be glad.
Do not watch Shaggy and Scooby get a clue this series. That's horrible.
Okay. And spoiler alert, the monster's a fake.
There's a reason that show got canceled after one season.
Fair enough. But yeah, if you like some classic Scooby action, this is a good one. With the modern animation and stuff. But it's them going to Mexico because I guess like Shaggy or Scooby has a pen pal, and this pen pal kid invites them down to his village for like this festival and whatnot, and then they find out that that there's the legend of the El Chupacabra, which is an actual legend, an actual myth. You can look that up. It's an actual like Mexican
Yeah.
myth. El Chupacabra, the monster that I believe it's a monster that eats. I want to say
Goats.
cows. I think something like
Goat,
that.
the goat eater.
Goats, yeah, it's a livestock. It's a livestock myth. Yeah, exactly. And so they do that, and they find out about that, and it's terrorizing
Daniel Bryan.
village and stuff. Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty awesome. That's actually, I think, on the image. I think actually, yeah, that purple thing that's holding Scooby up. That's the Chupacabra. But yeah, it's really good, and it's like almost like classic Scooby because it's you got the fake monster. It's embroiled in a mystery. You don't know what's going on, and anybody could be the one behind it. And you have like Fred falling in love. Of course, it's Fred. But yeah, just from top to bottom, it's a really good movie.
Nice.
And it's different because it takes them out of, the United States or whatnot, wherever they are. It takes them to Mexico, which I'm like, you don't see the Scooby Gang really go anywhere outside the country usually.
More on that later.
Yeah, I mean they do once in a while, but usually you don't. So it was a nice change of pace to be like, we're in Mexico. I'm like, ooh, this could be interesting. So, back to Jim.
Fair enough. But I like to point out here that number one, they actually, particularly in these direct-to-DVD movies, they go outside the country quite often. And number two, this is the second one in which they went to Mexico.
Is it?
It is, because the first one was The Legend of the Vampire.
Fair enough.
Which wasn't actually a vampire.
No, it wasn't. And then they've also they've gone to such places as Scotland to visit Daphne's family. They've gone to I think they went to China once.
Yeah, they've gone to a few. Don't start listing them when I said more on that later.
Okay. Moving along.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they've gone out quite a bit. They even went to a zombie island.
Ah. But just Mole, why don't you go ahead with your number three?
Okay, this isn't the one that's outside of the country, but this film is fucking awesome. I realize the other people here haven't seen that. Scooby Doo and the Mask of the Blue Falcon. Basically, Blue Falcon's like Adam West Batman with Dynamo and
Dynamite.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I remember that on Harvey Birdman.
Yeah,
Attorney at law.
Yeah. Yes, but I was saying we have that, and basically they're rebooting his film, and he's not playing him. In fact, it's another actor playing it, and it's all darker and grittier, and you see fans like Fred who go like, oh, why'd you like that? Come on, that property's never been good. And then he mentions he wants to go see the new remake, which people do all the time with comic book stuff nowadays, which annoys me. And they go to a Comic Con. It has like loads of people all around it, like Space Ghost and classic Hanna-Barbera cartoons as these comics, which is pretty cool. The actor playing the the remaked version of the Blue Falcon is basically like more like your Christian Bale type actor. Like he even comes out and says, I never really cared much for the actual character. That's why I choose not to go into this blind, because I want to go into there and give this dark edge about. And he goes, how the character's more of a loner, and how it's all about the struggle between whether or not he's him or whether or not the mask is truly him, and all this, like they do with Batman. To which Shaggy goes, I'm going to kill him! And Shaggy goes to punch him in the face for that, because Shaggy and Scooby are huge fans of the original. During this as well, you have a little side story where Daphne's trying to buy the Littlest Fuzzies, which are like collectible My Little Ponies meet Beanie Babies, which are adorable.
Mm.
There's also a cool thing where Velma hates comic books, and she mentions, and this scene's just awesome, she mentions, I hate comic books, and she's like, I mean, they make no logic. And Daphne's like, oh, what do you mean? And Velma's like, well, for example, if you actually got bitten by a radioactive spider, you would not get powers. And taking off your glasses doesn't suddenly make you look like someone else. Example, and she takes her glasses off and goes, I mean, come on, you'd have to be a complete idiot for fall for this. Cue Fred, who walks over to him and goes, hi, Daphne, we're going to go check out the new Blue Falcon. Oh, bring your new friend with you. To which Velma just goes, really? As she's looking at him. Fred doesn't recognize her because she's took off her glasses.
Nice.
Wow.
They also do something on this. Sorry, you go.
I was going to say, which I have to call bullshit, because Fred sees her without her glasses at least once every episode or movie.
Yes, but...
Actually, I would beg to differ on that, because half the time they're all split up in different areas when she loses the glasses. That's the exact reason why I can't see without my glasses, because none of them are there to give her back her fucking glasses, or it would defeat the purpose of the joke.
Yes. True. But I would also say, this film also does something I've not seen much in Scooby Doo before now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They do the perfect red herring.
Wait, Red Herring shows up? Does Fred accuse him of being the monster?
See, notice I took a pause there. I knew how predictable that would be. But yeah, basically, there would be the reason I say they did the perfect red herring in this is it looks like for all of the film that it's the old actor.
Ah.
He even does monologues, like where he goes a little insane and starts to talk about how he's going to shut down this film and he hates this film and stuff like that. And you're like, okay. Then there's a giant mech of the villain, which is a Dr. Oh, what do you call it? Dr. Hyde, because it's a villain that's basically Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And then the villain's called Dr. Hyde. And it's a giant version of him. They managed to trick the monster into basically falling over. They open it up inside, and inside is the guy with the mask on. They pull the mask off, and it's the old actor. And you're like, whoa, that was kind of too obvious that I thought you wouldn't do this. And suddenly, as he's being carried away by the police, Velma's like, this doesn't quite add up. Yeah, he's not the person. The main villain, who I'm not going to spoil it because that kind of defeats the purpose of these films, the main villain knocked him out unconscious, dressed him in the costume and put him in a remote-controlled mech for the sole purpose of everyone would believe it was him.
Nice.
And I'm like, that's genius! I haven't seen him do that much in Scooby-Doo. That's just kind of cool.
Yeah, that is genius.
And like that, this film's, it's a love note to comics, it's a love note to comic culture, and it's just really fun.
Nice.
But more stuff to do with comics later.
Given what they're saying in this one, I do need to ask: was there Jabberjaw?
I did not see Jabberjaw.
Oh.
And I will also say, which sometimes happens with Scooby-Doo, I'm not ashamed to say it. I know people will probably watch this now and say, well, I saw it. I did not see who the main villain was coming a mile away. I did not see it happening. I was like, okay, wait, here? Oh, God, of course. Now it makes sense when they reveal. I'm like, that actually makes sense. I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
A few of the people I thought it would be, right when they're about to pull off the mask for the final time, all show up.
Ah.
And you're like, wait, not them, not them, not that. Wait, okay, no, not them. Who the fuck is it? And when they take off the mask, I'm like, oh, of course. How did I not see this?
Nice.
But I love that film.
That sounds like a good film. I need to see that. In those instances, there should always be Jabberjaw, purely for the specific reason of, Fred's voice actor Frank Welker is the voice of Jabberjaw.
Yep. Which I will also make the case. Which I was waiting until I finished with this to make this case. I will also make the case to you, Marcus. Mm-hmm. This film clearly takes place in a different continuity to most of the episodes or series of films.
Okay.
Because Scooby-Doo has teamed up with Dynamite in the past, but in this one, Dynamite is just a fictional character.
Ah.
Yep. In fact, I remember the episode. I think it was an episodes of I think it was What's New Scooby-Doo. They had one episode where there was some kind of, what was it, like a mystery solvers convention, and so there was them, the Speed Buggy crew. I think there was Jabberjaw's team was there. There was the Funky Phantom team. Like, they all showed up for this mystery solving convention.
Yep. And I will say, as a bonus feature on the DVD, they include old vintage episodes. one of the episodes, you can clearly see the difference between now and then, if that makes sense, between the writing team. I don't mean any offense to the writing team when I say that. Because when you watch the original one of them involves them going to a Comic-Con, just like they did in this. However, when they go to the Comic-Con there, all the characters are just basically generic-looking versions of heroes now. Like, they've changed just enough they don't get sued. They're not even clever parodies.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one, it's all Hanna-Barbera stuff, so it's like all the stuff in the background. You're like, oh my god, yes, I remember all this, and you sort of get a Comic-Con like vibe. Where you're like, oh my god, I remember. I hit loud water, but I was like, I remember all this stuff. I'm like, that's cool, and you know what I mean. I'm like, that they did a better job with the Comic-Con vibe and how it feels now than they did all the way back then. So that's kind of cool to see.
Nice.
But yes, moving on to Pew. Or Jim.
Indeed, Anastasia Lazerbeam. Why don't you hit us with your number 3?
Alright. My number 3 is Scooby Doo and the Alien Invaders. I really like this one, but not only because of the mystery, because I am personally interested in astronomy and like aliens and stuff. I mean, not that like, you know, I'm like some kind of like weird tin hat person, but like I just find the whole concept really interesting. So yeah, it was super cool, and then it's because it has both fake aliens and real aliens that it was really interesting, you know. So that was a really interesting, cool dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason why the aliens that are real aliens look the way they do, and I like the idea of that they went into a little bit, which was really cool.
It was cool. Breathe, Stacy, breathe.
Sorry, it's still a little dusty here when I'm, you know, in my new place where I'm cleaning stuff up and everything. Another thing is I really like the song and music video, I guess, because it had like a thing where they have the share song about him and the chick that he was kind of sort of dating during the movie. So I really like that song.
So groovy.
Yeah.
I like that song.
Yeah, it's really cool. And also there is another gardener who is like a detective or something, or like undercover or whatever here. Or he has like, he's not really a gardener, but he likes to press flowers and take care of flowers.
That wasn't a gardener, that was the mechanic, and he wasn't undercover. He was just a mechanic who hid the fact that he liked to press flowers because he wanted to seem more manly.
There you go. He's an undercover fresh flower presser.
Pretty much.
And he was pretty cool too.
He was.
So that was super awesome. I like that the villains look like broccoli. I just love that they're like alien broccoli.
Indeed.
If you love alien broccoli, then you're going to love the Legendary Super Saiyan.
I don't know what that is.
Wow.
What?
I was just making a joke. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on, Jim.
Moving on to me. My number 2, as we move along.
Number 2.
But yeah, my number 2, nothing we haven't talked about before. I love this movie too. Much like Stacey, I used to watch it all the time, although I actually watched it on Cartoon Network, and then I taped it off of Cartoon Network, and then I watched it more. So, I didn't have to go to Blockbuster. But still, great movie, I love it. Dracula's the best part of this movie, hands down. I love Dracula in this movie. He's great.
How can you go along with Dracula and the Amazing Coffin Car?
Yeah.
I liked his girlfriend, Dracula's girlfriend.
Vanapyra?
Yeah.
She was funny too.
Yeah.
She was pretty good too. Yeah, overall, it's just a funny movie. And like, Kooky was good. Even Scrappy was tolerable in this movie, which shocked me. Because he wasn't acting like a spoiled idiot that wanted to fight everybody. He was just helping Kooky, and it's like, okay, go. But yeah, it was a very, very fun movie. Great voice acting, great. A fun plot, you know, shaming of the werewolf, wacky races, Kooky shit breaks out. It's awesome. It's just an awesome movie. I love it. You know, the Hunch Bunch, one of which was Rob Paulson.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was the one. I think he was the one that.
With the monocle, right?
No, I don't know. I'm not sure which. He might have been the monocle one. I think.
I don't know. One of them was the monocle one, and I liked him. He was really cool.
Yeah,
He
the
was like the
monocle one.
spiffiest hunchback ever.
He was. Yeah, I think that was Rob Paulson, and then the other that one was Frank Welker.
I think that was Simon as a hunchback.
Ha.
The other one.
But yeah, the Hunch Bunch were great. Dracula was great. Everything was great. Genghis Khan was cool.
I love the fact that they gave Shaggy hiccups in that controller's transformation. I thought that was hilarious.
That was kind of weird. I like the fact that they had that awesome car that could do like anything.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the werewolf car. I mean their actual convertible that Shaggy just happened to own, and that we never see again, much like his girlfriend.
I'm gonna say that's cool and all, Jim, and I'm gonna let you finish. But the time they teamed up with Speed Buggy is the greatest car that's ever existed in Scooby Doo. Thank you.
I can agree with that. I won't argue.
Beep, beep.
I'd argue that they got a divorce and she took the car.
Huh. That's possible. That's possible. But yeah, it's a fun movie. I love it.
Or maybe he crashed the car and she died horribly. Then years later, Triple H had put on a mask and pretend to have sex with her. Jim.
What the fuck?
It's a wrestling thing. You probably don't want to ask. Moving along. Let's go over to Marcus Shadow for his number 2.
Well, number 2, we're going to another one that we've already discussed, but hey, why not? If it'll load.
If we get an image here.
No, that's not what stop. Try that
Live,
again.
people.
There we go.
Aha.
Scooby Doo WrestleMania Mystery. I love this movie. I was afraid it wasn't going to feel like Scooby Doo, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised that this is totally Scooby Doo, to the point that they actually evolve the characters, which you don't see a lot.
Who's the main guy in the picture?
That's John
Cena.
And who's the two people on the side?
Triple H and AJ Lee.
Okay.
Yeah, like I was saying, they acknowledge the past and they evolve the characters to the point that when Shaggy and Scooby are basically begging the gang to go to WWE City and they're saying, no, we hate wrestling, they actually pull out, hey, how about all the shit we've done for you to catch all these people? You owe us. And Shaggy pulls out like all these photos of him and Scooby doing ridiculous shit to try to capture like people in costumes and stuff. And I'm like, wow, they actually incorporated that in there and have like Shaggy have a chip on his shoulder about it. I'm like, that's awesome, and that's totally what should happen.
And if you're wondering, Pew, the character on the left is Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate.
Wait, what? Wait, that's a monster.
Yeah, Mo was making a joke.
Okay.
But anyway, also ignore the fact that the guy on the right has a title belt because he's the arrogant head of the company and had to have himself holding the belt in the poster, even though he has nothing to do with the belt in the movie.
Also, the guy holding the title, Pew, he was the guy I mentioned in my previous joke about putting on a mask and sleeping with dead people.
He is.
Ew, what the fuck is with that? And like,
Long story short, there was a storyline where he was feuding with a guy, and so they started referencing this guy's past girlfriend who had died in an unfortunate car accident. And Triple H did this really stupid gimmick where he put on the mask of the dude he was feuding with, and then they put a dummy in a coffin, and he pretended it was a. Basically, this clip of what we call Kane doing it, and it was him, obviously him in the Kane mask, molesting the dummy in the coffin, and it was like the worst storyline in WWE history, except maybe the invasion, and they don't like to talk about it, but now they joke about it because it's been long enough.
Yay, corpse fuckers.
Pretty much. Moving along.
But yeah, I really do like this movie. It really felt like Scooby-Doo, and they incorporated the WWE stuff, I thought, brilliantly. That's the other thing I was afraid of, is I didn't know how they were going to incorporate it, but they did it so well.
Although random heavy focus on Sin Cara.
That's probably because when it was recording, it was at the time they were going to push Sin Cara before they found out how much of a fuck up he was.
I also think it's probably because he didn't. He's one of those characters you don't know much of. He's extremely mysterious, so they could give him all this backstory, and people wouldn't be like, that breaks his character, because do you remember when this happened? Because we don't know fuck all about Sin Cara as a character as Sin Cara until he debuted. We only know about the actual actor, which isn't the same as his actual character.
True, although I'm still waiting for the Monday Night Raw where John Cena comes out and speaks Mass Luchador.
Me too. Although, to be fair, he was also one of the few wrestlers that's been able to speak Chinese, and he spoke Indian to the Great Khali, and he had a conversation with Umaga, which means I think it's pretty established in WWE continuity that Cena can speak any language.
I sense a few Cesaro coming on. But anyway, I'm sorry, he doesn't exist. I forgot.
And he only speaks 5.
True.
That's just how many moves Cena has.
Well, we have to establish because we still have to figure out which one he forgot. He could learn that springboard elbow last night.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Is he a Pokemon?
Yeah, that's the running joke. That's pretty much the running joke is that Cena, he uses the same moves in almost every match. So that's actually been a running joke and a meme online is that Cena only knows 5 moves, and when he shows a new move, he must have forgotten an old move.
But a Pokemon knows 4 moves. Gosh.
Yeah, and there was also the joke that because it wasn't necessarily that he only knew 5. It's just he would do those 5 in the exact same order, and it would end every match. Hence 5 moves of doom.
Critical hit. Super effective.
Pretty much. Moving along. Mole, how about your number 2 there, buddy?
Okay, like Marcus, I also have a number 2, which involves involves Scooby Doo, pardon me, teaming up with someone.
Number 2. Nice.
It's been dethroned as number 1, people.
Ooh.
More on that later, obviously. That comes after this. But it's arguable whether or not this should count because they're technically episodes, and I'm using air quotes, but they were extended way beyond normal episode length. And they were called New Scooby-Doo Movies, which means this is Scooby-Doo Movies. It should count. I did check with Jim, and since they released both on a DVD of this, it's like, okay, that can count as the name for both of these, and let's just call it that.
Yeah, it was a series that aired. They made the show they made each episode an hour long, and in each episode, the Scooby Gang would team up with a celebrity, and a celebrity, or in this case, a fictional character celebrity, and they would solve the mystery together. And it was always a lot of fun when they did it. They had 2 different ones with Batman, where they squared off against the Joker and the Penguin, who were doing illegal stuff. So it was a lot of fun. And
you just called Batman fictional. He's still real to me, damn it.
I'm sorry.
I'd say at least Batman seems to do some detecting in this, as opposed to like beating the shit out of people.
Yeah, wait, I was going to go into it. He actually does detecting, and it makes sense. The world's greatest detective with Batman. The world's greatest detective with the Scooby-Doo gang of the mystery teens. It makes perfect sense. They seem to have a heavy respect for each other as detectives. And Penguin and Joker made great villains, and they even mixed it in by including an extra villain in the second one, I believe it was, or the first. And that's just kind of cool. And they interacted really well. And yeah, you could make the case that the Adam West Batman isn't that great, and it wasn't that good for the comics and stuff. But that version blends so perfectly with Scooby-Doo in this film. It's totally worth checking out. If you've not seen this and you're a fan of either Scooby-Doo or Batman, you need to watch this.
I agree. It is. They are great movies. There's a lot of fun. And if you have a chance, watch any of the other new Scooby-Doo movies from that series as well. They made everybody from the Addams Family to Sonny and Cher to Harlem Globetrotters.
Personally, I would say do not watch the one with the Addams Family. I really do like the Addams Family. I really love the Addams Family and the Munsters and shows like that. When I watched them team up with Scooby-Doo, it didn't feel like the Addams Family, whereas this one felt like both together, if that makes sense. That didn't feel quite like the Addams Family in the way I wanted. It
felt like a weird combination of like the 1964 Addams Family merged with the cartoon one in a really weird fashion, so it just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just 2 different types of Addams Family put together that just felt awkward.
Yeah, okay. Stacey, since you're already talking, why don't you give us your number 2? Keep it rolling.
Okay.
All right, what do we got?
My number 2.
Here, Stacey, I should be doing this the whole time. Hang on a minute. Not that one, sorry.
To be fair, if she's going to give us her number 2, shouldn't there be another girl involved and a cup?
Ah.
Thank you.
Watch out, Stacey, your number 2 is?
Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School.
Nice.
I believe one of the other people mentioned that. I can't remember who it was, but it was some handsome devil.
But yeah, I love this movie. I haven't seen it in a while, but I used to watch it like every Halloween. I'm surprised.
For the benefit of you.
What?
So for the benefit of Pew, I've put the image up to help you
Oh,
out.
cool.
Scrolling over
thanks.
the old image.
Yeah, so Scooby Doo in the Ghoul School, I loved it because they got to like be teachers to like all these like female like monsters, and the monsters were good, and it was really cool. And yeah, Little Mummy, Little Mummy is my favorite. And I like how like on Parents' Day they get to meet the actual monsters, and then they just talk about how like they're super afraid of them, but like it's because they take care of their kids and they just love them. So you see like a real nice like affection between them, and then you see an actual villain, and all the ones come together, and it's really awesome. I also like the vampire chick in here.
Yeah.
It was cool.
And then Scrappy raps.
I don't even remember that.
Remember they were after they saved the day and they made up with the villain kids from the other school, and then they had a dance party and Scrappy started rapping as everybody was dancing.
Oh, I guess. I don't know. I did like the dude who led the other school, the rival school. I like the leader dude, the captain, or like head mister, or whatever they call him. He was cool.
He was cool.
Because they were like, I don't know, they were like Boy Scouts or something. I don't know what the fuck.
They were at a military boarding school.
That's close enough.
But yes. So yes, that is an excellent movie.
It is.
All right, moving on to my number one, my favorite Scooby movie of all time. For a number of reasons. I give you Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
That is a good film.
I love this movie for a number of reasons. Those reasons, in no particular order. A, there was both the first Scooby Doo film. They realized right after. I'm getting echo from somebody. Just FYI. But the first. There we go. Thank you, whoever just muted. Well, it's the first film after Zombies. The first film made after Zombie Island, when they had their whole we tried the real monster thing, didn't totally work. And this is the film where I felt they got it right, because they had a fake monster, but then there was also a real monster. So I'm like, okay, balance. That's good. So I like that.
Is that the one with like some dude in a spell book and something with like the hex girls and things?
Yes. So, number one, they had that balance out. Number two, the fact that the fake villain was not just a person who was being a dick. It was an entire town being a dick and taking people's money. It's like, wow, this is a town full of assholes. So
I'm surrounded by assholes.
Yes, exactly. So there was that. There was, of course, almost always guaranteed to, even in the most horrible of movie, be a positive, is having Tim Curry voice a bad guy. That was good, having Tim Curry voice the.
That was Tim Curry, the nerd in the glasses, who
the guy with the glasses. That was Tim Curry, the evil glasses dude. Yeah, evil glasses author dude that Velma wanted to bang before she found out he was evil. So him, yeah, he was Tim Curry, and he was awesome in that role, where you thought he was a good guy, but then he turned out to be evil, which was awesome. And I'll admit, again, going back to a similar thing with Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, my other favorite part of this is that it introduced and had great music, and as part of that, introduced three of my favorite characters, the Hex Girls. I'm sorry, but the Hex Girls should be in every Scooby Doo movie just to play a song. Because like the Hex Girls, like I said, I know they're not really a band in real life. I know it's just three voice actors who happen to be good at singing, but at the same time, it's awesome to hear them singing those songs because they're actually catchy. They're good songs. They work. And they actually bothered to give the band a backstory, and they've come back. They were in this movie, then they come back in the earlier when Marcus had the other thing, the aforementioned first Mexico movie with the fake vampire. They came back in that one, and then they also appeared in one of the episodes of I think it's the What's New Scooby-Doo TV show, I think. They were in one of the TV shows. So they recurred them a few times, specifically the lead singer, Sally Campbell, a.k.a. what the hell was her name? Shit. I see, not Dusk, not Luna, the other one. No, I forgot her band name. Shit.
Is something with the moon? I don't know, because you just mentioned all the different times.
Oh, there's Dusk, and there's Luna, and then hers, I cannot remember for the life of me what the hell it is. It's, for Christ's sake, what is it? God damn it. That's gonna drive me nuts now. Thorn. She's Thorn. Sally Thorn McKnight. Okay, not Campbell McKnight, wrong name. Sally Thorn McKnight. Sally Campbell's a Power Ranger, and that's not who I meant. Anyway.
Ah.
Wrong voice actor. Anyway, so yeah, Sally McKnight, who is Thorne and the leader, and they're an ego band. So yeah, they dress like vampires and they're creepy. And at first, Shaggy and Scooby are terrified of them because they think they're vampires. But then it turns out no, they're actually really cool people. They're an ego band and they sing and they dress like goths and sing badass music, and they use it to try to save the Earth, i.e., such as their cool song "Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air." So
when your powers combine.
I am Captain Planet, exactly. And it turned out they were a cool band, and they showed their teeth were fake, and that Luna's father was a dentist who outfitted the band, and what's her name? His father lives in this town of assholes that were stealing people's money, and they helped us solve the mystery. And then the thing they were the bag. I love the Hex Girls; they're great, and they play great music. And the music I think is very important to any Scooby movie because you need a couple of things. You need the theme song to be performed in an awesome manner. Either I accept either the original Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, or I accept What's New Scooby-Doo, both of which are good theme songs. And you need to have a great chase song. And so it works
Benny
out.
Hill.
Well, yeah. But you need to have a great, either a 70s style song to harken back, or just a nice rock song that fits in with the running. So whenever the Hex Girls, it always plays out very well. And Witches Ghost just brought all these aspects together. The whole thing about the... Plus, it had the cool spellbook and the rhyming chanting, and I love rhyming chanting in anything that's magical because it just sounds cool. So just a whole lot of aspects just came together, and I like Zombie Island. Zombie Island was cool. Then I saw this, I'm like, okay, that was a better movie. You took what you did in Zombie Island, you kept the realism part when he actually summons his ancestor, who actually was a witch because he lied because he's a dick, and then you still had the fake villain, so it's like you did both, and it worked out, and it was awesome. I'm like, okay, that's cool, I accept that. Good movie. My favorite Scooby-Doo movie, Witch's Ghost. She's what we fear the most. She's the witch's ghost. She's on the moon. Anyway, Marcus, you're number one, my good sir.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcus is number one. Woo!
Yes. Scooby-Doo Camp Scare.
I have not actually seen that one.
I love this movie. It hits all the right notes with Scooby-Doo. What's that?
Oh, I said, yeah, that is good.
Yeah, and I love the villain in this one because he's kind of unconventional. Yeah, he's doing it to find some hidden treasure to make money, but like with this one, alright, going into spoiler territory because it's a huge reason I love this. The thing is, okay, so they go to Fred's former camp when he was a kid, went to camp and Boy Scouts and whatnot, and so they go back to revisit it. If Fred wants to revisit, he brings them along, and it's at a lake. And the whole thing of this movie is there is a sunken city at the bottom of the lake that, you know how that goes in some places where you have like a city that gets deserted and then through natural disasters and stuff, it becomes something else. And in this case, it became a lake.
I was more thinking a child drowns in it and then like the mother comes around and kills everybody.
No. This isn't Friday the 13th.
I was going to make a wildly offensive New Orleans joke.
Oh. But yeah, so the whole thing is that the treasure that he's trying to get is buried under this city that's at the bottom of the lake, so he's got to get the water out of the lake. So the plan he concocts is he's going to dynamite the dam, which will drain the lake, and then he can get to the city. But to do this, he has to get everybody out of the camp. And for once, he's not scaring them away because they'll stop him or scaring them away because they could potentially get the money or anything. He's actually trying to scare the people out of the camp because he doesn't want to kill anybody. Because as soon as he blows that dam, the camp is going to get flooded, and if there's people there, they could potentially die. And he's like, well, I may be a crook, but I'm no killer. I don't want to kill them. I want them out of the way. I'm like, I thought that was kind of cool, where he's kind of doing it, out of for a more humane reason of I want to save back the money and stuff that's down there. I'm like, that's kind of awesome. And just the whole mystery it's one of the better mysteries I've seen from Scooby-Doo. And I'm, as I've said before, I'm a huge mystery fan. Mm-hmm. And I felt this was probably one of the best, if not the best mystery I've seen out of Scooby-Doo. And that's why this one is the number one animated on my list, because it has all the aspects and has a really strong mystery behind it.
Although I'd like to point out that the villain in this movie clearly doesn't know his Scooby-Doo history, because if he did, he would have seen which witch is which, and he would know that the way to get money on the bottom of a lake is to row around in a boat with a steel tip metal pole till it hits the money, and then haul it up with a winch.
Well, to be fair, this guy's been in jail, so he probably hasn't seen much of anything.
Fair enough.
Except for Orange is the New Black.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love this because there's a whole subplot where at the top of the lake, there's a new camp there that's like bigger and better and brighter, more updated. They have like computerized doors and it's because the camp that Freddy went to was was an old school camp, and because that new camp came along, it became kind of run down, and it's the lesser camp. Basically, not a lot of people go there, and so there's this love-hate relationship with the new camp because Fred kind of hates the new camp because it's not traditional, and he's more of a traditionalist, which I thought that was a great evolution of the Freddy character. He's got these core like old school values. He's got like an old soul. But then at the same time, the head camp counselor, or one of the two head camp counselors at that camp, is a hot chick that he instantly falls head over lust for. So
Nice.
he's constantly battling between, fuck that camp for distorting what a camp should be, and goddamn, I want to fuck that chick.
Can I assume this
I
involves
thought
him getting
was really
frequently
sexual.
slapped in the face or getting dirty looks from Daphne?
Yes.
Mm.
And it's kind of awesome because at one point she becomes a suspect, and so Daphne's like, Fred, she's a suspect. And he's like, I don't care, must bone her. Of course, she's not the villain, but still, it's like, I just love that they have that subplot, and it's for my money, it's rare, if not almost, you never see this in Scooby Doo, where their subplot is as complex, if not more complex, than the primary plot, and it's executed well.
Yep.
Indeed. All right. Well, thank you, Marcus. Chriz the Mole, you're number one, if you'd be so kind.
Okay, my number one, which I think out of everyone here, Marcus may get the biggest kick out of this film itself, and he definitely needs to watch it. Boom. This is the latest Scooby Doo film, so it's as of the date of this recording. This is Scooby Doo Moon Monster Madness.
Okay.
To break this down and go through a bit of it and why this is awesome, Daphne actually has major evolution in this story. Major.
Okay.
And so does Velma.
Okay.
Fred is crushing like he normally does, but he's not crushing in the traditional girl sense. He's crushing over two astronauts that are going onto space with him because they're basically Neil Armstrong and
Buzz Aldrin.
yeah, and basically it's like he's really just I don't know what you call it, but man crushing on him, and they keep finding ways to shut him up, like freezing him or turning his speakers off or stuff in his spacesuit and stuff. And then at the end, with the Fred part, they learn that basically Fred's a really good person, and the reason he's a really good person is because of heroes like this in his life. Then, with Shaggy and Scooby, they have a new friend called U-Boat, who's a giant American football player who's also gone on this celebrity trip to the moon. He's this big giant guy that's like, like your traditional action hero.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they always say and he mentioned stuff to him like, Shaggy, Scooby, it's okay to be afraid. Stop being afraid. Stop thinking you're letting your team down because you're afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to be on this spaceship right now. I'm afraid to be in space. I'm afraid of aliens. I'm afraid that, and he mentions loads of stuff. He goes, I'm even afraid that I'm never going to get to do what I love to do the most. And they go, oh, what do you love to do the most? And he's like, I love to sing. And they're like, oh? And he goes, yeah. And they go, well, we'd love to hear you sing. And he goes, okay. And then this big, muscular black dude with dreadlocks and stuff goes to sing, and it's, oh, it's like the voice of a fucking angel. And you're like, what the fuck? That's hilarious. But as a result, later on in the film, they save him from the monster, and he says to them, aren't you guys afraid? And they're like, yeah, but we learned what you said. We've learned to cope with our fear using what we like best, food fight, and they attack the monster with food. I'm like, holy fuck, they evolved. Nice. Daphne's arc is she fails her driving test to drive the Mystery Machine. And yeah, she keeps thinking, oh, I failed. I'm always failing at stuff. I'm just a pretty face. That's all I am. And then it gets revealed that she has the best test of anyone to be an astronaut. Velma does not like this. Velma hates this. And Velma's being bitchy to Daphne throughout the whole film. And then you get a cool scene where Daphne's like, Velma, why are you treating me like this? What? Am I just supposed to be the dumb, good-looking one? Can't I actually have something for myself for once? Can't I be my own person? And Velma's like, yes, you can be, but here's the thing. Why do you get to have it all? And she goes, what do you mean? You're the best-looking one. You're the funniest one. You're the one who all the guys want. You've got the best hair. You're the one, and now you've got the brains. Now you're also the physical one for an astronaut. What's left for me? Who am I? If you have everything, I've got no place. And I'm like, holy fuck, that's awesome. And she ends up talking Daphne in the end to driving a spaceship down and landing on Earth because she believes in Daphne. And Daphne overcomes her own just being the pretty one to actually help save the day, which is fucking awesome. Velma learns to get over herself with Daphne, which in itself, that's all awesome. During this whole thing, the actual monster is an alien from Aliens. Because they're in space.
I see it on the poster there next to
Exactly. And it parodies Alien in loads of ways. Like there's a female who joins them who's a alien resistance fighter called Ridley. Who's both which is both a parody obviously of Ripley and Ridley Scott. Which is awesome. You also have stuff like there's someone on there called HAM, which stands for Host Android Model, which is basically, do you remember that scene on Aliens where there was a character that at the end gets revealed to be an android?
Yeah.
They reverse it. This whole film, there's a human-looking guy and he's like, I am an android, and he starts to play like sound effects and stuff for his suit, and then at the end he shits himself at the monster, and Velma's like, you're not an android, are you? And he goes, no, okay, fine, I'm an actor. I'm an actor pretending to be an android. And you know why? I would have got away with it. And she goes, yeah, you would have got away. And all the gang go, yeah, you would have got away with it too if it wasn't for us meddling, kid. Blah, blah. We get this. Can we solve the mystery, please? Which, like I said, that's just awesome. And when they do the attacks, when they talk about the alien attack, they all see stuff in a very different way. There's even jokes like Daphne says at one point, don't worry, Fred, they'll come round, about the old astronauts. She's like, don't worry, Fred, they'll come around at some point. You just have to give them some space. Huh, Fred? Huh? Space? Do you get it? She just starts to crack up. And Fred then just looks puzzled and goes, I don't get it. I don't know why that's wonderful, but yeah, like I said, it's a love note to Alien. While there's actually a real mystery there, I'm gonna have to spoil it slightly because it works for the story. The alien, it's the person who's the alien, is Daphne's new best friend, who's a chick just like Daphne with long hair and it keeps complimenting Daphne's hair. But it turns out she was doing that to keep her from there, and she's not just doing this for the money; she's also doing it for the money and stuff like that. But unlike other Scooby Doo villains, she actually has a real reason I could understand. She's a professional astronaut. And he's the only one there, besides the retired guys, that are professional astronauts. The rest are all celebrities from a Richard Branson-like person taking them into space. And she hates that, 'cause she's like, I've spent my entire life training to be an astronaut. It's something I've wanted to do my whole life. It's something I've earned. And yet people can just win tickets or pay money and they can go into space because, space isn't scary anymore. Space is fine. No, space should be for people that earn it. Space is something that's a privilege. So yeah, I pretended to be an alien to trick you all and blow up this whole station and stuff like she does, to make people think it's unsafe to send celebrities into space while also pocketing shitloads of cash from her story. But I'm like, that's a cool reason. Every part of this film works, you know what I mean? As a story, every one of the Mystery Inc. people evolve. The mystery itself is fun. And all the side stories all interlocked and they're just so wonderful. And I love it. Everyone should check out that film. It's Scooby Doo and Moon Monster Madness.
In fact, we actually just got that DVD in at the library today. I saw it on the card of new items that came in.
Nice. You need to get that, Jim.
I will. Also, I do need to ask one question based on that poster, though. Does Fred actually drive the Mystery Machine in space?
He does not.
Oh.
However, they all do get spacesuits and match their colors. The Mystery Machine's just there to have it there because the Mystery Machine's hardly used, but it is used as a bookend for the story, so it's not like they're not including it. The whole thing takes place on a spaceship and in a space station thing when they land to get fuel and all that stuff, which pretty well done.
Mm-hmm.
I also love they do a running joke throughout the whole thing. Daphne loves her hair. And she's also like, come on, Velma, are you mad at me just because my hair's better than yours, huh? And she starts doing the hair flip, and it acts like a whip, whipping Velma in the fucking face over and over again. And when Daphne imagines saving the world from aliens, every single character gets her hair because that makes them better. At this point. And there's even a great scene where she's doing all the hair flips and stuff, and the one that's Ridley that has, like more like the short woman hair like Ripley does. Mm-hmm. She comes in and she does the slow motion head thing where it makes the hair move, but because she has such short hair, only one spike moves. And I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. I don't know why.
Nice.
Yeah, like this film, it's perfect across the board.
Nice.
Good luck, Stace.
Indeed. Pew, bring us home with your number one.
Oh, my number one was already mentioned, and it's number one for me, so you guys might not like it, but it's Scooby Doo and the Cyber Chase. This is just perfect for me because it's Scooby Doo and video games. Come on, what more do you need? And I love this because it's all like it's kind of like an anniversary one because it all has the classic Scooby Doos in it, and I don't know. I just like the idea that they're trapped in a game, and they're like, I like that it's still a fake monster because it was a programmer. Spoiler alert. But yeah, it's still really cool because the lightning dude looked pretty freaking awesome. I guess he disguised himself.
Phantom Virus.
Yeah, he's so cool, and I like that there's double Scooby Doos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the real villain of that was the On the Disc DLC.
This is just
I see what you did there.
Yeah. This was just so cool. I liked all the virtual shit and the different levels and then just exploring the world and, playing the game.
And nice.
We are VR, virtual reality, Scooby. Virtual reality. Sorry.
And like I mentioned when Marcus talked about the Cyber Chase, it is a really good film. To be fair, I don't think there's been any bad Scooby-Doo films. And
Not particularly.
I'm a little sad I've seen every single one mentioned here, but still. But I like I said, it's a pretty damn good film. And these countdown lists are meant to be our personal ones, so that's perfectly acceptable with that being your number one. I can understand why.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Well, that was great, everybody. Good job with the list. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you all for joining me. This was a lot of fun. Always fun talking about Scooby-Doo. A lot of great stuff that they do. And maybe we'll come back to Scooby at some point in the future for look at some other stuff. But for now,
Top 4 live action films. Top 4 live action films. Let's do it.
But yes, Jim, do you want to announce the topic for this one?
I intend to. If you hadn't cut me off. Also in Mole's starts in Mole's in response to Mole, Mystery begins. Chriz is a lake monster, and there aren't any more. But anyway, so next month's theme for the final countdown, which we do hope you will join us for. It will be at the very last Sunday of April. Feel free to join us for it. And we are going to, in honor of a little bit of a theme we're going to have, I know it's not quite the Summer of Disney yet. That is still forthcoming. We're having a little prequel to the Summer of Disney, if you will.
Correction, is it actually the last Sunday of April, or is it the first Sunday of May? Because I believe we went to the first Sunday since we're not booking it.
You are right. Thank you, Mole. First Sunday of May. Thank you for correcting me. You are correct. First Sunday of May. May the 2nd, actually. And for that final countdown, for the Around the Pounds All month, we are going to be taking a look at the book series Kingdom Keepers, which I will be discussing with these guys. I've read it, they haven't. And we're going to talk about it. And as you might remember, for a long time on the previous format of Around the Pound, I was discussing this recurringly as I read it as part of my weekly recap. So we're going to go through the whole series, all 7 books, and hopefully the 8th book of the new trilogy if I can get a hold of it in time. And in honor of maintaining that whole theme of Kingdom Keepers being a Disney-themed book about fighting off a group of Disney villains called the Overtakers, Next month on the Final Countdown, we're going to count down our top 5 animated Disney villains.
Be prepared.
These will be...
My number 1 is whoever decided to buy Marvel. Number 2, whoever bought Star Wars. Thank you.
And these will be from animated films, the original 50 animated films, direct-to-DVD films, the Pixar films, even the Disney television films I'm allowing in this. Anything that's animated, as long as it is totally animated. So no Mary Poppins, no Enchanted, none of that. But, yes, the top 5 Disney villains, it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and also, like you mentioned, it doesn't include stuff like, because you said TV shows, it doesn't include stuff like Spider-Man or Star Wars and stuff, because I know like the new Star Wars Rebels has had a TV show. Because you wanted the list to all be Disney created, not Disney purchased.
Right. So,
so TV shows count?
No.
Damn. I was gonna
No,
go
he said TV show villains, as in if they appeared in a live action film a cartoon film based on the TV show. Like Rebels had a pilot that was put together like a film.
Right, but like, does the Disney Afternoon count?
If it had a movie. So, for example, if you wanted to use DuckTales with a Secret of the Magic Lamp, Journey of the Magic Lamp, something like that, you could use that. But
that means I have to use the villain that was in the movie. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, you have to use the villains that are in the movies.
If it helps, like he mentioned, there's over 50 movies, shitloads of spin-offs, shitloads of TV ones. You're not spoiled for choice.
Yeah, like I said, even just from and I would encourage you, even just from the original Walt Disney Animated Pictures classics, they are currently on number 50. I think Big Hero 6 was 55, if I'm not mistaken. So they are. There's plenty of villains from all of those. And Big Hero 6, I know it's a Marvel property, but it was made by Disney. I will count Big Hero 6.
Why? That's like you said, it's a Marvel property.
But Disney actually made the movie.
They also made the animated Spider-Man cartoons, which also had the film, and Star Wars Rebels.
No, I won't count Big Hero 6 then.
Well, I was gonna say also, is it Disney only, or are we counting like DreamWorks and shit?
No, it's Disney. They're not.
Well, I didn't know if it was strictly like Disney created only, or if what the merger counted.
But
DreamWorks is their opposing company. That's Pixar,
okay,
you idiot.
Okay, why getting confused?
Pixar count.
Yes, Pixar counts, but no, DreamWorks is the people that make Shrek and Kung Fu Panda and all those movies.
Because I was thinking like Toy Story.
Yes, anything but Pixar films will count. I will allow Pixar films. That is fine.
Yeah, DreamWorks is the one that doesn't know when to end their films, and so they just keep doing sequel after sequel. Pixar is the one that didn't know when to end their films, so they keep doing sequel. Oh wait.
But yeah, so we will be counting down our Disney villains, so stay tuned for that. It should be a lot of fun. The 4 of us will be here. We will pitch it to some others. Maybe we'll get a few more in, who knows, but at least the 4 of us will be there, so stay tuned for that.
Indeed.
So thank you to the 3 of you for joining me for this video. That was a lot of fun talking about Scooby.
It was a pleasure.
It was.
You're welcome.
So thank you all for listening, if you're listening to this. And we would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids. I'm James Phoenix. We'll see you next time here for the Final Countdown.